Welcome back to RX Muscles Spotlight. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is a very special one, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I met her back in the 1990s. I used to compete with her in the same shows. I actually started as her coach. Together, we actually won the 1996 NPC Junior National Women's Bodybuilding Overalls. She placed at the USA after that, and then got hurt a little bit. Life happened. She had a family. We're going to hear all about it. And she's back, and at 50 years old, she earned her IFBB Pro card. The woman I'm talking about is my good friend, Donna Sterling. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Donna. I call you Miss Incredible, because what you went through, how long it took you, I have to take 3 hats off to you, because it's a miracle.
I'll take them all.
Now, you were really big into bodybuilding and into the whole scene back in the 90s, as we all were. You were competing on a local level. You moved up very fast to the national level. You did really well, very quickly. You had the look. You were very pretty. You had the great shape on stage. Your conditioning was awesome. What was, when you were in that stage of your life, what was bodybuilding? I mean, that was pretty much like the thing you lived for, right?
Oh, I loved it. I remember seeing Corey Everson the first time, and that was it. I wanted to look just like her. Yeah. I thought she had everything. So I got into the fitness world. I started working in it, doing aerobics, being a personal trainer, got into lifting weights, started to meet everybody in the bodybuilding world. And back then, it was a tight family. Like, you knew everybody. Right. It was really nice. And to this day, not to jump way ahead fast, I still see the same people. So it's nice.
That's funny. Yeah, it's funny because, Westchester area was really hot for bodybuilding back in the 90s. There was some really, really good bodybuilders that came out of that area. And the shows were super competitive. If you could place in that New York area at a regional show and win your class, you were almost guaranteed to go to a national show, at least at the junior national level, and do well, because that's where the best competitors were coming around that time. And so, women's bodybuilding, people don't realize when you were competing in women's bodybuilding, there were no other divisions at that point. I don't even think fitness had come around, right?
I think fitness just started because on the cover of the NPC magazine, it's me, the men's winner, and then there's a fitness winner. So it was just coming out. Right.
I think it was like 1 or 2 years old or something like that. Yeah. So, if you wanted to pose and you wanted to hit, there was no women's physique, there was no figure at that point. If you couldn't do a routine, you weren't doing, you weren't competing. So that's really what it amounted to. Now, at some point, you had the potential, obviously, to go pro after you won that junior USA title and you placed at the USA. What went on in your life? Tell us what stalled the career, so to speak, and stopped it, because you guys got out of that for a while, because we were really tight, we were hanging out all the time, and then all of a sudden you kind of moved away from bodybuilding. What was the moment that did that?
Well, I remember I was practicing my posing routine for the nationals,
right?
And I went from a transition movement, and my kneecap flipped over to the back of my knee, and that was it. So the doctor told me I never would compete again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he said that to you.
I was like, okay, that sucks. And I started a family. I had my triplets, 2 boys and a girl. So I do everything big.
Now let me ask you. I got to ask you a question, because I don't think I've ever asked you this. When you had the triplets, was that like just randomly occurring, or were you doing fertility or anything like that?
No, I had to do IVF.
Okay.
But I'll tell you one thing. Besides the IVF part, I mean, that's a whole story in itself. My bodybuilding career helped me with being pregnant with triplets. Like the whole routine, and you have to feed yourself, and you have to do this, and you have to do that.
Right.
Worked right its way into it.
Yeah, we just threw a shot up there of you and I.
Yeah, but no, I had to do IVF. Why, I don't know. And we weren't looking for triplets. We were looking for just one.
Right.
So we got lucky. We got 3.
They implanted 3 in you, or because I know usually they implant a couple just in case some don't make it, right? How does that work?
Well, I went through I went from Clomid, from them trying the least amount of work that they needed to do with me, all the way up to IVF. And I went through 2 rounds. This was my 3rd and last round.
Oh, wow.
And 2 rounds didn't take. So they did the last round. They put 4 in, just hoping 1 would take.
Sure.
And I was lucky 3 took.
And now they just graduated high school, right?
They just graduated high school.
That's sick.
No, what's sick is my daughter wants to compete.
That's right. You told me that. Yeah, that's awesome.
I think you're going to be like with me forever.
Another generation I got to work on. Yeah, it's like Star Trek: The Next Generation. The thing that was amazing, because I remember when hearing that you had the triplets, because we kind of lost touch, and here they are of 18 years old. It's like a blink of an eye almost, you know.
It is a blink of an eye. They're 18, and oh my gosh, driving, doing everything, and I don't even want to get into that. That's a whole nother. I got millions of stories to say. I'm
sure. Now, did you stop competing, or did you just kind of tone it down a little bit? What were you doing during that time period?
I stopped competing. I was just working, doing my personal training, but very little bit because I was going to people's homes and staying home, taking care of my kids.
Right.
So when they got into, I think, middle school, I was walking in my neighborhood and I banged into a friend of mine and she was like, "Oh, I'm turning 50. She says, now I get to relax. I don't have to worry. And that just got that bug in me. I was like,
really?
Relax. Well, how are you going to relax when you're 50? You know, your life is just starting. And I wanted to compete just to try to inspire women, 50 and over. Right. Don't give up. Don't give up.
So when did you realize that your knee really was functional again? You think all that time off let it heal? Is that what happened?
You know what? I'm not sure. There was one Christmas Eve, my son was sitting on my lap and he just moved a little bit and I felt the whole thing start to shift.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's healed where it will never do it again. I just think working out and keeping the muscle on is just keeping it.
I think it was just a freak accident is what happened. And I think you dislocated it, and maybe because you have loose joints. And then I think with the more muscle you have, you would think it would keep that knee tight, the patella tighter.
Well, that's what the doctor, and doctors don't always know what they're talking about. Sorry if there's any doctors out there. But he said my muscle was so strong that when I went to move into the other position, it held my knee while my whole leg moved.
Oh, I see. So it was a freak accident, really, is what it was. Know. It was a freak accident. So
freak accident.
So at what point, how many years ago now was it that you started the comeback when you contacted me? Was it like 5 years ago?
5 years ago.
Okay, so your kids, I mean,
yeah.
So you basically were out of it for like 15 years?
Yep.
That's a long time. And
how hard? It's a long time.
How hard was it to get back into it?
I really did.
Yeah.
Oh, not hard at all. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Were you really sore when you first started?
It made me feel good.
Yeah.
What?
Were you really, really sore when you first started, back in the gym? And were you like starting over again?
Yeah. Very sore, but that happened. That happened after COVID when everything opened up. Got very sore again.
Yeah.
But I just love it so much that it feels good.
Yeah.
No, even the soreness.
When you first started sending me pictures, when we first started working together again, I think it was, like I said, 5 years ago. You didn't have any muscle. It was amazing. You lost a lot of muscle, and you wanted to do figure. And I said, all right, whatever. Look, I'm friends with Donna. I'm going to do whatever she wants to do. We'll help her out. But in the back of my head, I knew that you could get the muscle back, and I was hoping that you would want to. I didn't know if you wanted to because you were dead set on figure. Matter of fact, once you did add back a lot of the muscle, I said, all right, we're doing women's physique now, and you were like, at the last minute, like you change your mind, I'm doing figure, and then you do terrible, and then you'd be like, I don't know why I didn't listen to you, But was it a fact of like you didn't think you had enough muscle, like because you were comparing yourself to back in the 90s?
I never feel big enough. I always feel like small.
Yeah.
I remember that show. You told me to do physique. I was like, there's no way. I can't. I'm not big enough. I did figure. Everybody in that show said, if you did physique, you would have won. I was like, okay, I got it. Dave was right. I was wrong. Got it.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing though. This year was the year you finally, and I can almost say I think you might have been better this year than you ever were in your entire career. I think you finally added back the muscle plus extra muscle, and I think you were bigger this year than when you were actually competing you know, back in the 90s, which is amazing because people think you can't make progress at 50, like you said, but you really can if you really put your mind to it.
You can, and I mean, not to say I don't listen to you, but this time I fully listened to you.
Yeah.
I used all the Species products,
yeah.
okay? And that's like the only change, and I really think that helped. You know, I think that just helped my body recover, build, it helped it do whatever it needed to do. Those fat burners, oh my God, I was sweating like a dog. So I think everything that like really pulled everything together.
Yeah. I think you really mentally were ready to do it too. I think you felt very confident in yourself this year. I noticed that in the updates and stuff like that, and your body responded better. Your legs were absolutely the best that I've ever seen them. And really, the reason I wanted to do this interview is because it's a testament that no matter what happens in your life, and you got COVID and I mean all the other craziness we can go through, but it doesn't even matter. You overcame all the obstacles and you found a way to win. And you know what? I tell people, true champions don't complain about, oh, I hurt this, I injured that, this happened, my grandmother died. They find a way to win, no matter what. Dorian Yates was a master at that. And that's what makes a champion. And you did that. You were able to overcome. It took you 25 years to get back to the stage. And then even with all the stuff that was thrown your way, you know, your marriage ending and, you know, all the other stuff that went on, you found a way to win. And now you're an IFBB Pro. I mean, it's got to feel amazing to have that validation. It
feels amazing. I can't wait to compete again.
So you definitely want to compete as a pro.
Now
obviously.
I have like really big goals.
Now, here's a question. I want to throw a winger at you because we were kidding around about it. But, you know, bodybuilding was your roots. That's where you came from. I mean, I always felt that if they had women's physique back in the 90s, you would have been a champion for sure because that was your look. Would you ever want to do women's bodybuilding again, or do you feel comfortable in this new division? You know,
that's so funny you said it. So my goal for this off season that I'm starting is I want to try to put on as much muscle as I can because I would like to do bodybuilding because it seems like bodybuilding's going in and out, in and out.
Right.
I don't know. I want to see if I could, I don't know, maybe do something, bring it back. There's a lot of older competitors that seem like they're coming back and they look fantastic. So, I mean, they should drop the ages and just let us all compete.
That's what I think too. I think, you know, well, I mean, you could, everyone can compete in the open anyway, but I guess they do the masters divisions in some of these shows to give people who turn pro as a master a place to go if they don't feel that they're able to compete with the open people. A lot of people don't realize you're still getting better, and I think that's what's inspiring you because now that your kids, you know, are graduated, you've done your job. You've graduated essentially. Now you have more time for yourself a little bit, right? I would assume.
So can you imagine?
You know, I can't even imagine.
That's it. That's all I need. There's a little bit more time in my day.
Yeah, I know. I got 3 kids in there, and I'm just starting still. You're done. So, you know, I got another 15, 20 years of hard duty.
It goes like that. It goes so fast.
Yeah. The difference is that when I'm done, you and I will both be 80.
Yeah, we'll both be 80, and I'll be like, Dave, can you help me?
You'll still be competing. I'll be in a wheelchair. Donna, I want to just say I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy that you were able to get this pro card after all these years. It really is a pleasure to always, know you as a friend and to continue working with you. You're stuck with me as long as you want me, and I think we're going to do some great things next year.
Dave, all I can say is thank you. You're the best, always the best.
Thank you. And when your daughter's ready, we'll get her on stage. Hopefully, she can be Miss Olympia. We don't want to. We're not taking any 25-year gaps in her training.
No. She's working hard.
All right. Well, once again, this is one of those interviews I love to do because I love to show success stories. And I've been waiting for Donna to finally get a pro card so I can interview her and showcase what she got through. But if you guys are sitting there in your chair and you're saying, I can't do this, I have too much going on in my life, I have kids, I have a job, find a way. Champions find a way to win. Donna found a way to win, and Donna Sterling is a new IFBB Pro. I'm Dave Palumbo with an RXMuscle Spotlight.